Well, hello everybody. Let me show you what we got going on today. What I did, this is what you missed on day 2, or on our day 3. I answered any questions that they might have had on worksheet day 2. We did take a homework quiz, so you will need to get that made up. That ought to take you about 5 minutes. You will get to use your notes in your worksheet on that. And then I covered section 1.3. This should be 99% review for you because it's just over solving equations. I also added in what's called literal equations. Some students struggle on that, so make sure you pay great attention to that. And then you will need to complete and turn in our day 3 worksheet. So here goes. Right there are the answers to your worksheet day 2. So you can pause the video, compare answers there. Make sure you know that material. So I'm going to click right through it. You can always pause it and check your worksheet from the other day. But here comes the examples on the class note. And like I said, I'm going to click right through this because I'm going to assume that you remember how to solve equations. Plus, when I make a video, I don't want my video to take forever. So here goes. Remember when you solve equations, if it's addition or subtraction, you do the opposite to both sides of the equation. If it's multiplication or division, you got to do that to both sides. So here goes. 3 times some number equal 45. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. I'm going to get an answer of 15. Then I'm done. On my number 2, I got 17 equal 9 minus a. What I need to do is subtract 9 from both sides first. And I told the class while you're gone, you do not have to show me that you're going to go minus 9, minus 9. If you can do minus 9 in your head and just write down 8 equal negative a, I am A-okay with that. Solve this thing for a, so I'm going to say that a must be negative 8 because I multiplied or divided by negative 1. Or I could have wrote it like this. I write my answers with the variable on the left just out of habit. You don't have to, but it's easier if you do. On my number 3, if you have a variable on both sides of the equation, long story short, you got to get the variables on one side, the non-variables on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 5t to the left, to the right. That way, when I simplify this, I have a positive variable. I like that. Now I'm going to add 5 to both sides, I hope. So I'm going to get 4 equal t, or t equal 4. Like I said, it does not matter how you write that. Now, if there's fractions involved, here's what I'd like to get you in the habit of. I got 2/3 m equal 1/2. I could divide both sides by 2/3. That's not the best way. I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. That's the best way. Because remember, any number times its reciprocal is a multiplicative inverse, and that gives me a number of 1. So this becomes 1m equal, and you can use your calculator if you need to, but I'm going to multiply straight across. 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 2 is 4, and I'm done. Here's my number 5. 7 minus 1/2 x equal 3. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. So I now have negative 1/2 x equal negative 4. Here's a fraction again, so I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. These become 1, so I'm at x equal 2 negatives make a positive 8. On number 6, if there's parentheses involved, all we'll do is we'll use the distributive property. So I've got negative 8 equal negative 2z minus 14. I'm going to add 14 to both sides. I've got 6 equal negative 2z. Divide both sides by negative 2 and get your answer of negative 3. Okay. Like I said, guys, all should be review. On number 7, I got 0.2b equal 10. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.2. Whenever you divide by a small number, your answer is going to grow. So if you type in 10 divided by 0.2, you're going to get 50. My number 8, I need to get my variables on one side, my non-variables on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So now I'm at 17 equal 2x minus 13. I'm going to add 13 to both sides. So I'm now at 30 equal 2x. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2 and get my answer of 15. That's all there is to it. And I'm just going to keep clicking through these. If you're good, you can always fast forward the video a little bit. On number 9, I'm going to distribute and get 20 minus 5k equal negative 10k. I'm going to add 5k to both sides. So I'm going to have 20 equal negative 5k, because negative 10 plus 5k is negative 5k. Divide both sides by negative 5, and I'm going to get an answer of negative 4. Okay. I'm going to keep on clicking through these. On number 10, I got 120 minus 3/4 y equals 60. You're going to need to subtract 120 from both sides first. So I've got negative 3/4 y equal negative 60. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of negative 4/3. Okay. You could type this in your calculator. What I did is I knew a negative times a negative was a positive. And then 3 divides into 60 20 times. 20 times 4 is 80. Like I said, that's the same answer you would have got if you would have typed it in your calculator. On number 11, a little bit of calculator work on this one. I'm going to add one end to both sides. Now, have your calculator with you and follow this step with me. I'll pause a little bit on this one. If you would, in your calculator, go 5 fraction key 2 plus 1 equal. Your calculator might be showing you 3 1/2. If it is, hit second and your calculator, your fraction key again, and it's going to change this 3 1/2, a mixed number, into an improper fraction of 7/2. That's the number we want to work with. So now I really have this. 7/2 n equal 98. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2/7 and get an answer of 28. So some calculator work there. If you have a TI-8384, once it said 3.5, you will just hit your math button and hit enter twice. And it'll change it to a mixed number for you, or an improper fraction for you. Here's my number 12. I'm going to subtract 4.5 first. So I've got 2p equal 3.2. How about 4.2? And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So I'm going to get p to be 2.1. Okay. I'm still going to click through these, and then I will slow down a little bit once I get to number 18. On number 13, I need to get my variables on the same side, so I'm going to add 2n over here. So I've got 6n plus 20 equal 53. I'm going to minus 20 from both sides. So I've got 6n must be 33. A lot of different ways to leave this answer. I know I need to divide both sides by 6. If you type that in as 33 fraction key 6, one answer could be 11 over 2. Another answer could be 5 1/2. Another answer could be 5.5. Any of those answers are nice. We'll take them. Number 14, 20 minus 5r equal 100. I need to get rid of this 20 first. Do any addition or subtraction first. So I've got 80 equal negative 5r. Divide both sides by negative 5. So I'm going to get an answer of r equal negative 16. Short and sweet. On my number 15, 2x plus 75 equal 102 minus x. I'm going to add x to both sides. So I've got now 3x plus 75 equal 102. I'm going to subtract 75 from both sides. So I've now got 3x equal 27. I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and I'm going to get x to be 9. Okay. Number 16 and 17, just a little bit extra work, but nothing you can't handle. On number 16, we need to distribute first. So I've got 8n plus 12 minus 6n minus 18 equal 4. So I distributed. Combine like terms on the same side. I've seen people do this before. Don't do this and don't write this down. That is way wrong. I just added 12n to the left-hand side of the equal sign, and I didn't do anything over here. If your numbers are on the same side of the equal sign, just combine like terms. So 8n and negative 6n is 2n. 12 and negative 18 is negative 6. And I'm going to set that equal to 4. Now I'm going to add 6 and get 10. Divide both sides by 2 and get 5. Okay? And then my last one before I start the literal equations, let me distribute again. So I've got 6n minus 12 plus 7 equal negative 4n minus 6. I'm going to combine like terms, so negative 12 and 7 make negative 5 equal negative 4n minus 6. I'm going to add 4n over here and get 10n minus 5 equal negative 6. I'm going to add 5 to both sides and get negative 1 over 10 for my answer. You could have ran that through your calculator and got negative 0.1 also. Since that decimal stops, we would also take that. Okay. Hey, so I clicked through 17 examples there in about 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes. It should be review for you. Now, these next ones you should have seen back in the day with Miss Kinderconnect, but just in case you didn't. Plus, I'm going to assume that you didn't. So on number 18, an equation becomes a literal equation if it has fewer numbers in it and more variables in there. The steps are the same. A equal 3b minus c. I want to solve this thing for b. We're going to solve this just like you would solve this equation. Well, in this equation, I'm hoping that you would tell me to add 1 to both sides first. So I now have 5 plus 1 equal 3b. Then I'm hoping you would tell me to divide both sides by 3. That's going to be the same steps I'm going to use. So to solve a equal 3b minus c, I'm going to add c to both sides. So I now have a plus c equal 3b. I need to get b by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So my answer, a plus c divided by 3, that's what b is equal to. So done. In a way, these are nicer because you can't simplify them. On number 19, I'm going to ask this question probably about 4 or 5 times. I'm going to ask, what do you not like about s divided by 2t equal 10? And your reply should be that fraction. Whenever there's a fraction involved that we don't like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to multiply both sides by the least common denominator. Well, the only denominator here is a 2t. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2t. Here's what's going to happen. This 2t and this 2t divide out. So on the left-hand side, I've got s equal 10 times 2t is 20t. Now the fractions are gone. Now we're going to solve for t, so I need to divide both sides by 20. So my answer, s over 20 equal t. And then we got it. Flip to your back page if you would. Here's my number 20. H equal 12g minus 1. We're going to solve this thing for g. Well, do any addition or subtraction first. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I now have h plus 1 equal 12 times g. I need to get g by itself, and it was 12 times. So division undoes times, so I'm going to divide both sides by 12. Well, here's my answer. H plus 1 over 12 equals g. So there, I got it. On number 21, I'll ask it again. What do you not like about number 21? It's probably going to be the fraction. So this is 12 over 1. I'm going to multiply both sides by r. Well, once I do that, these r's divide out, so I'm left with 3 times p times q equal 12 times r. We're trying to get p by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3q. That way the 3's divide out and the q's divide out, leaving me a p on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to simplify 12r over 3q because 3 goes into 12, so this becomes 4r over q. So there's my answer. So let's just do what it takes to get the variable by itself. On number 22, I need to get x all by itself. Well, on the left-hand side, I have 2 times x times y. To get rid of that times, I got to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by a 2 and a y. Well, on the left-hand side, all I'm left with is an x. On the right-hand side, I got p plus 7 over 2y. And I got it whipped. Here's my number 23. I've got d over 2 plus f over 4 equal 6 over 1. I need to figure out the least common denominator of a 2 and a 4. So when I say least common denominator, the number we pick, you have to be able to divide 2 into it, and you need to be able to divide 4 into it. So 2 is not the least common denominator, 4 is. Because 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times d is 2d. 4 divided by 4 is 1 times f is 1f. So I got 2d plus f equal 6 times 4 is 24. Now I need to get f by itself, so I need to minus this 2d from both sides. So here's my answer. F equal 24 minus 2d. And then I've just got a handful left. Here's your number 24. I got 3 times 2j minus k equal 108. We're going to try to solve that thing for j. Well, there's parentheses in my way, so I'm going to distribute that 3 and get 6j minus 3k equal 108. Okay. Well, I need to get j by itself. So do any addition or subtraction first. So I'm going to add 3k to both sides. So I now have 6j equal 108 plus 3k. I need to get j by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6. So I got j equal 108 plus 3k all over 6. That technically reduces, but I'm not going to worry about that with you right now because I didn't put one like that on your assignment. So if you can get me that far today, we're sitting really, really good. Here's your number 25. I've got c divided by 4 plus d divided by 6 equal e. Well, there's those dang fractions again. So I need to find the least common multiple of 4 and a 6. If you have to, I got to start counting by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. I need to count by 6. 6, 12. The first number we say in common is a 12. That's my least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 12. And then it goes like this. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times c is 3c. Plus 12 divided by 6 is 2. Times d is 2d. Equal, there's no fraction here to reduce, so it's just 12e. Now we need to solve this thing for c. So do any subtraction first. So let me subtract 2d from both sides. So I now have 3c equal 12e minus 2d. To bring it home, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So there's my answer. That's what C equals. Here's my number 26. T divided by N plus 5M equal 20. Well, kind of the same game. We do not like that fraction, so I'm going to multiply both sides by N, because that's the only thing in the denominator. This N and this N will divide out, leaving me a T. 5M times N is 5MN equal 20N. We're trying to get M by itself, so I'm going to subtract T from both sides. So I now have 5MN equal 20N minus T. And I need to get M by itself, so I need to divide by a 5 and an N. So once I do that, oops, 5N I said, my final answer is right there. Since I'm running out of room, I'll just clean this up. That's what my M will equal. And my last one, I'd like to get Y by itself. So do any addition or subtraction first. So I need to subtract 4x from both sides. So I now have negative 3y equal 10 minus 4x. I need to divide both sides by negative 3. So I'm going to have y equal 10 minus 4x over negative 3. If you remembered that problem from graphing lines, and you said, man, Mr. Harris, I think the answer is y equal 4/3 x minus 10/3, that is a great answer also. So either of those today. That's the lesson, guys, so make sure that you get worksheet number 3 done for me for next time. And then you do have a quiz coming up. So good luck.